Welcome back to the Sacred Center. The Sacred Center, what is it? It's an indwelling place inside each and every one of us, inside the organic, living light intelligence, encoded in that central seed of our soul, the very crystal center of our being that holds the blueprint for our sacred soul's geometrical structure, the sacred center. It's that sacred essential self that actually does have a mathematical code to it. It's a sacred architecture. So it's your unique blueprint is your sacred center. And it's also an external space. Of course, what's within is also without. So it's that sacred center that we build for ourselves, our own personal sanctuaries. And certainly it's what I build with my community online and in person. So the message is coming through actually yesterday on my run. A lot of my downloads come from my runs, actually, more than lifting weights or doing exercise classes. It's the run that usually gets my clock spinning, my inner wheels really going, when I kind of like blow out the stagnation and that fresh flow of energy and life force and a circulation, like the lymph is getting cleaned out, and like it's really a blood and system cleaner, those runs. And the message, I mean, it's kind of an obvious message for running in the heat, but it was about withstanding pressure, like strengthening in the resistance and the pressure. Like, can you take the heat? Can you take the pressure? Can you take that like resistance training of being alive and having a human body? And it is a bit of a strength training domain here. The physical realm is a pressure cooker, and it's not a bad thing. It's taking this base raw material and through pressure refining it and defining it and clarifying it so that light can pass through the facets of that sacred geometrical sacred center, the soul essence, so that the light like really passes through the form and the soul can just shine through with clarity. So it's like the metaphor of a diamond, it comes out raw, comes out rough, and through buffing and working those facets to perfect and to create that crystal clarity so that the light can pass through the diamond. I mean, it's like a very perfect metaphor for the alchemical process of the hero's journey, the heroine's journey, this life journey that we each and every one are on. And the hero's journey, I mean, there's archetypal phases that we all go through, even though our narratives are very unique and our genetic lines are very unique. So there's very unique experiences that we're all living, yet we all are passing through these initiation thresholds. No matter if you're a wealthy child of a billionaire or you're, rising from the streets, it's I mean, of course, it's different narratives, it's very different realities, but there is a hero's journey in every story in between those two ends of the spectrum of lived experiences. We are all being pressured and buffed. And the soul, I mean, if you subscribe to the reincarnation journey, the soul has been many things. The impoverished and the, overlord, whatever, and, the prostitute and the nun, and the rescuer and the perpetrator. There is this idea that we have been the many, right? So, in the sacred center exploration, it really is coming into this field of ultimately neutrality and a non-judgmental sphere where you really are able to reclaim personal responsibility, self-awareness for what is the material of your personal life, and to bring about personal forgiveness for ways that you have trespassed another, or where you have trespassed yourself and didn't honor your own inner knowing and overrode that personal boundary. And then also ways that others have trespassed you, and forgiveness of other for their own state of ignorance that they might be in. And we all are in different states, we all have it. We're all in this shroud of density of human experience. So there is this kind of, the sacred center is a very human space to be in. It's a place where that unity of humanity really indwells within one's own beating heart, and feels that unified compassion for the beating hearts of all of humanity that are going through their own experiences. So it's very, very personal, but definitely affects interpersonal and transpersonal relating as we tap into sacred center. And there is that refining process of inner alchemy that, my run was definitely coaching me on yesterday. It's like, can you take the heat? Can you take the pressure? Are you going to quit when the mind feels it's hard? Test those boundaries. They're only self-imposed. The mind is going to give out much quicker than the body. So this is challenging myself. Okay, I'm not going to stop at the first threshold where my body's or mind is quit. I'm trying these new shoes and it's hurting my outer arches on both feet. I'm cramping. It's am I going to quit? Or do I just kind of find a little bit more softness, maybe pull back on my pace and self-regulate? And then can I keep going? Oh yeah, I can. And eventually the pain neutralized, and I even convinced myself that, it was supporting a collapsed arch, and there's going to be a little bit of pain when that extra layer of support comes in to actually strengthen the structure at my foundation of my body. So it's pain isn't necessarily a signal of you need to quit. It's is it beneficial pain? It's we don't need to just coast on easy, because in this realm of physicality, there is resistance training, and it does make us stronger. So can you take the heat? Can you take the pressure? How is life buffing you and refining you and clarifying you through that process? So I'm going to draw a card to see where the collective is at. How long is this video? Okay. I don't want it to go too long. Okay. Wow. Interesting. So we have the King of Cups. So there is this very compassionate presence of a masculine energy, and it's masculine whether you're in a feminine body or masculine body. We all have masculine and feminine, inside of us. We all have lunar and solar energies because we're we're a part of that world of male and female. So King of Cups is the space holder. It is like, it's time to love. It's time to turn up the volume on love, whatever that looks like for you. And is that for self? Is that for others? This is a bit more about holding loving space for the other, because he's holding space for himself. So, you know, even if you're in a female body, like, are you allowing your inner masculine to hold that space for your feminine to relax and be at ease? And letting there be a healing in the collective masculine energy. Yeah, letting that masculine really show up in a loving and supportive and consistent and stable way, whether that's internally or externally. Of course, it's always both. And why is that important? Because there's a continuing process. We have 88, double infinity. This is 8th house Scorpio energy. So it's that self-regenerative process. So we're really being asked, because there are challenges that we're being faced for that self-strengthening, self-refining process. And these aren't cards just about the self. They're cards to really be more of stability and support for the other and for the collective. So we are being asked to really stabilize our emotional body so that we can be clear and direct support for those around us. I love that message. Because on the bottom of the deck we have the oppression card, because there is a lot at play right now. And I'm going to start doing more of these videos, because I could keep talking for about another hour on this theme right here. So it's time to step in to heart and soul, stabilize that, enjoy that, celebrate that, be that, feel that, experience that internally for yourself. Let yourself be fed by that, so that it can naturally overflow and be that source of love and stability and compassion for those around you. And not so much even in anything specific, but just by the nature of your being, as you stabilize that more internally. It's just a natural overflow output of your breath that is providing that stability and support in your relations, but also in the collective, like, morphogenetic field, the collective consciousness field that, you know, I might not know you, but if you're stabilizing, it is supporting my field through that invisible network, energetic network, like that soul group that we're all a part of. So, okay, that's the message. That's what's coming through. It feels strong, feels charged. I feel like heat inside, feeling this aliveness, and I hope it translates and lands well for you wherever you are. Peace and blessings.